So welcome to our day 2 of our 10 for 10, and as I mentioned, for those who watched the first one, hopefully it will continue as well, but for now I hope everybody's doing well, hope everybody is managing. I guess before we start, just to say a couple of points. Firstly, what's going on around the world and what's happening here in Melbourne, in Australia, I'm sure is taking a toll on many of us. It's, as I've said before, it's overwhelming, it's difficult, it's challenging. And so make sure to take care of your own mental health. Make sure to take care of your well-being. If that means taking a break from looking at the news, social media, taking a walk outside, maybe a bit of exercise, then do it. You know, take that time. You don't have to solve everything today. You don't have to, get into panic mode and make sure everything's, just take one step at a time. So again, I'm reaching out and saying, look after your health, look after your well-being, and take care of yourself, and of course then see how you can help others as well. Secondly, unfortunately, as many other synagogues, many other shuls have decided, we here at South Corford Shul are temporarily suspending our services, and it certainly was a very difficult choice and decision to make, but one which has been taken to do our part to ensure the slow of the slowing down of the spread of this COVID-19, and I believe it's truly saving lives. And I think it was heartbreaking at our final minyan this morning to see some of our congregants in fact crying and really being, taking this decision in a very difficult way. And it is wonderful to see how much the daily minyan and of course how much the Shabbat services mean to so many here at our congregation. I look forward to opening the doors again, celebrating, praying, enjoying what a community and what a shul has to offer. So it will be soon, but for now, let's remember we're doing it, and this is the service now. This is what we need to be doing right now to ensure the safety of ourselves and those around us, those who are most vulnerable, to the elderly of the community. So it's certainly a decision which is difficult and painful, but I believe the correct decision. But anyway, getting back to our learning that we have started yesterday, and I want to begin, by continuing on our theme of yesterday, which was looking at the various customs and matters relating to chuppas, to weddings. Unfortunately, many chuppas are being postponed, and please God, they'll be able to stand under the chuppah for those couples who have postponed very soon. And there's so much regarding a chuppah, so many beautiful minhagim, so many beautiful customs. So I believe yesterday we got up to discussing the himuna, or the hinuma, which was the badekan, or the veiling of the bride. And it's a very meaningful part of the day, to be honest, when you officiate a wedding, and the chatan and the kala usually haven't seen each other for a number of days, and all of a sudden they get to see each other, and it's very moving, it's very heartwarming to see that gaze into each other's eyes, that how much they mean to each other and how much they care about each other. So why in fact do we put a veil on the bride if in fact we want them to see each other the entire chuppah, but yet we go ahead and do this? So there's a number of reasons given. Firstly, from biblical text, the Torah says that Rebecca, when she was about to get married, she veiled herself when she saw Yitzchak, when she saw her future husband. So in the same way, the brides today veil themselves before they go and marry their future husbands. There's also a number of other reasons. It says, in accordance with the book of Ruth, there in the Ruth it says, "And Hashem you shall spread your wings over your maidservants." So God's wings, in a sense, are over his maidservants, meaning over the bride. So it's beautiful. It's almost as if Hashem and his wings and his presence are surrounding the bride. There is something which I often do tell couples as well, which is that, whilst you've, of course, they're both, dressed in their beautiful clothing, everybody looks wonderful, and of course there's the physical connection. But by putting a veil over the bride, and by the bride agreeing to wear the veil, and the chatan placing the veil over her face, it signifies, I guess, to each other, they're telling each other that, yes, we do connect externally, and of course the outside opinion and how we view each other externally is important, but what really is important is how we connect internally. What is our value system? What is our moral system? How do we connect? What is the spiritual side that connects us? And that is something which the face, or is beyond what the eyes and the face can see. It's really internal. So we are connecting today, bride and groom are saying to each other on a much higher level. There's also the story of the two sisters. We know Rachel and Leah, Rachel and Leah, and they were switched. That Lavan gave Jacob the wrong sister, so it's almost like the symbolic of the checking to make sure that it's the right people getting married to each other, and that there's been no trickery, that somebody else has been placed instead. So, as I said, a very beautiful and meaningful experience. Often it's just the immediate family and close friends who join for that ceremony. There's an interesting minhag which I don't think I've never personally seen it here in Australia or anywhere for that matter, but there's a beautiful minhag written in the Shulchan Aruch about throwing wheat kernels. Some are accustomed to throw the wheat kernels over the bride and the groom as they walk to the chuppah. One of the reasons they would do that is because it says we should be as fruitful and increase in, please God, their activities in kindness and deeds, just like the wheat is multiplying and is fruitful. And there's also a beautiful relationship to Tehillim, to Psalms. It says in Tehillim, Chelev chitim yashbiecha, which means with the best of wheat he satisfies you. And if you take the gematria, if you take the numerical value of these three words, the passage of those three, Chelev chitim yashbiecha, it equals chatan and kala. And obviously because it says the word wheat, that's one of the reasons we do that. Now, there's another beautiful minhag. Again, not everybody does this minhag, but I've seen it done, especially in Hasidic circles, where when we follow the custom, where we take 2 candles when we escort the chatan and the kala to the chuppah. So you might see it at certain weddings where they're holding candles. And one of the ideas is that if you take the word for candle, which is ner, and obviously having 2 candles, ner, the gematria, the numerical value is 250, and times 2, which is 500. And the numerical value of the term peru or revu, the first mitzvah in the Torah, to multiply and please God bring children into the world, is also equal to 500. So the 2 candles, I guess, are a symbol of please God blessing the couple, that they should be able to be fruitful and multiply. On that note, and this is just a separate topic which has come to mind, it's everybody sets out wanting to please God bring a family into the world, and I always tell couples that yes, there's a mitzvah and it's important, but if God forbid there's an issue that you're not able to have children straight away or there's complications, to always be reassured that today you should feel comfortable to reach out to a medical professional. Thank God. I mean, with the evolution of modern technology and modern medicine, they can help so many couples today be able to bring children. But of course, always seek guidance from your rabbi, because sometimes if you do have to, utilize certain treatments, it's important to be done under halakhic guidance, of course, with the advice of medical professionals, and there are organizations to help with that. So just keep that in mind if you ever know somebody, or if you yourself perhaps are having issues, to seek the help. And I believe there's lots of resources out there today. Another strange custom, which I have never seen being done at a chuppah, but it does remind me of something that I do say at chuppahs as well. And there's a custom. It might seem counterintuitive, it might seem strange, because as you'll hear in a moment, where it comes in terms of its context is to actually recite the Kel Maleh Rachamim, the memorial prayer, something which is usually said at a yard site or at a funeral. So why would you recite a Kel Maleh Rachamim at a chuppah? So the answer is that if either one or both of the parents of the chatan and the kala are not alive, then they would say this Kel Maleh Rachamim. And the reason being is because it evokes that we say that the souls of the parents participate in a chuppah. And I've also read that the souls of our ancestors, grandparents that are no longer here, and great-grandparents, they all come to a chuppah. So we say the Kel Maleh Rachamim if one of the parents are not alive, almost as saying that they are part of the celebration, although not physically, but spiritually. Now, in Ashkenazi communities, this is something which a lot of people have asked me in the past, interestingly. There's a minhag to get married under the stars, to be outdoors. I know it's quite popular today to have it outdoors, so it's wonderful, but many people still like to get married inside a shul. At South Caulfield Shul, where our chuppah is placed, there's actually a skylight. So I think a lot of shuls do have a skylight and place their chuppahs there, so it's technically under the stars. But the idea why we would have it under the stars is almost like a siman tov, an auspicious sign that the offspring of this couple should also, please God, be as numerous as the stars in the heaven, like God had blessed Abraham as well. And so we do this as well. And also another reason outdoors, it's almost like if it's outdoors, we are publicizing the joyous occasion to the outside world. And there's the famous line we say, it says, let there be heard in the cities of Yehuda and the streets of Yerushalayim, And we go on to say in the voice of joy and a voice of gladness, the voice of the groom, the voice of the bride, the sounds of the groom and the sounds of the bride exulting from their canopies. And of course, we want to publicize that joy as well. So we'll just do one more, and it looks like we're going to be going into day number 3 of chuppot, and why we'd have the chuppas and the various customs. But we'll add one more before we continue, before I conclude, and we will then resume tomorrow with number 3, and then we will begin a new topic. So there's, of course, as I've said on day 1, there's so many customs in minhagim. I just wanted to list a few of them. So tomorrow we will cover a few additional ones which are of interest and exciting to know, and hopefully look out for when you're doing next chuppah. But the final one is, we know that the bride will circle the groom 7 times. Some have the minhag to do it 3 times. So in fact, we are running late. So tomorrow we'll start with why some do 3 and why some do 7. So again, wishing you well, look after yourselves, take care of yourselves, and look forward to day number 3.